I mean, let's be honest. You're currently working a 9 to 5 just to pay for a life you don't even enjoy, all because you're terrified of your friends thinking you're broke. Spoiler alert, they're just as broke as you are. They're just better at hiding the credit card statements, right? I see you, girl. I really do. I see you at that rooftop brunch, tilting your head just right for the soft life aesthetic, posing with a $15 artisanal cocktail that honestly tastes like overpriced juice. You're doing it for the grid, but let's be real for a second. You didn't buy that drink with your money. You bought it with a credit card that's charging you 24% interest just for the privilege of looking successful on a Tuesday night. You're participating in the ultimate scam. And the worst part is, you're the one scamming yourself. You see, we've been sold this lie that living your best life means burning every cent you have the moment it hits your bank account. I mean, if you aren't traveling to Tulum or wearing the latest trending set, you've somehow failed, right? But while you're busy trying to look like you've made it, your bank balance is literally screaming for help. This is what psychologists call relative deprivation. It's a fancy term for a very simple trap. You don't measure your success by your actual net worth. You measure it by how you look compared to the person next to you. And in the age of Instagram, the person next to you is just a curated highlight reel of someone else's debt. You feel poor because you're comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's polished front row. It's a psychological prison, you know? You're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week at a job that drains your soul, only to hand that money right back to corporations that sell you the solution to your stress in the form of a new bag or a luxury lease. You are literally trading your life force for a temporary hit of dopamine and the approval of people who don't even like you that much. I'm here to tell you that your cool friends, the ones with the brand new SUVs and the constant vacation stories, are actually drowning. They are one missed paycheck away from a total collapse. They are living a high-performance lie, 100% fake. If you want to actually be wealthy, not just Instagram wealthy, but actually, I don't have to set an alarm clock wealthy, you have to embrace being uncool. You have to be okay with people wondering why you're still driving that 2018 sedan, or why you're skipping the $500 bachelorette weekend. In this video, I'm going to expose the math behind why your aesthetic is keeping you poor, and how choosing the uncool path is the only real ticket to the kind of freedom that a credit card can't buy. I'm going to show you how to stop being the victim of the lifestyle creep scam and start building a blueprint that actually leads to $1 million instead of just 1 million likes. Let's dive into why your psychology is being weaponized against your wallet. Let's do some math that your bank is literally praying you never figure out, you know? I've realized that real wealth isn't about your salary. It's simply the gap between your ego and your income. I see this play out every single day. You're making $80,000 a year, which should be plenty, right? But you're living like you make $100,000. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but honey, you aren't thriving. You're a debt slave in a designer trench coat. Let's look at the cost of comparison, because this is where the scam really gets its teeth into you. Think about that $500 monthly car payment. It feels normal, right? I mean, everyone has one. But if I took that same $500 and invested it into an S&P 500 index fund starting at age 25, I'd be looking at over $1.2 million by the time I retire. Instead, what do you actually have? You have a depreciating piece of metal that smells like status and an ego boost that expires the second a neighbor buys a newer model. You're literally trading a 7-figure retirement for a luxury commute to a job you're probably only staying at just to pay for the car. Why are we letting banks win this game? They're getting rich off your desperate need to look like you've already made it. You see, we've been conditioned to believe that if we can't see the wealth, it doesn't exist. But the math proves the exact opposite. The most dangerous part isn't even the money you're spending. It's the psychological cage you're building for yourself. And just wait, because I'm about to show you the specific poverty traps hidden in your daily routine that are designed to keep that cage locked tight. So, how do we actually break out of this overpriced psychological prison? I've put together the Uncool playbook. And fair warning, your ego is going to hate every single second of it. Step one is the social media detox. And I'm not talking about some fluffy weekend retreat, you know? I need you to go through your following list and be absolutely ruthless. I mean, if an influencer makes you feel like your kitchen is dated, your skin is flawed, or your clothes are trash, unfollow them immediately. Stop letting people you've never even met dictate your self-worth. These people aren't your friends, and they definitely aren't goals. They are unpaid sales reps, or worse, highly paid ones, designed to make you feel inadequate so you'll buy the solution they're peddling. You're being sold a lifestyle you can't afford by someone who was likely given the items for free. It's a scam, and you're the mark. Step two is the 72-hour rule. It's simple. If it costs over $100 and it isn't an asset, meaning it doesn't put money back in your pocket, you wait 3 days. I promise you, after 72 hours, 90% of your must-haves lose their shine. That's because they weren't needs. They were just dopamine hits to mask the stress of your 9 to 5. You weren't buying a product, right? You're buying 3 minutes of feeling important. Stop paying a premium for a temporary mood boost. Then we automate the boring. I mean, the second your paycheck hits your account, a chunk of it needs to disappear into the S&P 500 before you even have a chance to touch it. If the money stays in your checking account, you've already spent it in your head. Out of sight, out of mind, into the market. We're not looking for get-rich-quick schemes or the next trending coin. We're looking for the boring, compounding math that actually builds wealth.
Finally, we perform the Uncool audit. I want you to look at your bank statement and find one prestige expense to kill. Maybe it's that $200 boutique gym membership where you're mostly paying for the eucalyptus towels, or the daily $7 latte that has somehow become your entire personality. Take that exact amount and funnel it into a high-yield savings account. We aren't just saving pennies here. We are building your FU fund. This is the money that gives you the power to walk away from a toxic boss or a soul-crushing job. But here's the kicker. Even if you follow these steps to the letter, there's one subtle habit, something almost every professional woman I know is guilty of, that can wipe out an entire year of savings in a single afternoon.
And the worst part?
You've been told it's actually self-care. Let me show you why your favorite weekend activity is actually a financial trap. Let's run a simulation of your life. Because, let's be honest, I want you to see the actual reality behind those filtered lies. See, girl A is cool, right? She is the walking embodiment of a curated lifestyle. She's got the latest iPhone, a closet full of those weekly Zara hauls, and her Sunday brunch photos. I mean, they are the literal definition of aesthetic goals. But let's look at her actual numbers, because the math never lies, even if the filters do. At 35, she has a pathetic $2,000 in savings and $15,000 in high-interest credit card debt. She is exactly one layoff away from a total, unmitigated disaster. She isn't living her best life. I mean, come on. She's one bad performance review away from being homeless in a designer outfit. Then you have girl B. By your social standards, she's uncool. She's still driving a 2015 Toyota. She wears high-quality basic staples she's had for 3 years. And she, wait for it, actually cooks her own meals at home instead of lighting $40 on fire for DoorDash every night. But here is the reality check the influencers are paid to hide from you. Girl B has a $40,000 FU fund and $100,000 compounding in her brokerage account. When her boss decides to be a toxic nightmare on a Tuesday morning, she doesn't have to sit there, swallow her pride, and take the abuse. She walks. When she wants to fly to Europe, she doesn't buy now, pay later her way into a debt spiral. She pays cash. So I have to ask you, who is actually 40? I'll give you a hint. It's not the one chasing the most likes. The cool girl is a slave to her image, while the uncool girl is the CEO of her own life. Being cool in your 20s and 30s is a scam, you know? It's a trap designed to keep you working until you're 70. But that's not even the craziest part of this simulation. Most people think the only difference between these two women is their spending habits, but there was one specific detail everyone missed about Girl B's strategy. It has nothing to do with her bank account, and everything to do with a psychological trap that Girl A falls into every single morning before she even gets out of bed. And if you don't fix this one habit, well, all the savings in the world won't make you feel free. Look, the truth is, being uncool isn't about being cheap or boring, all right? It's actually about finally realizing that you've been playing a rigged game this entire time.
Let's be real. You are literally being scammed into acting rich long before you actually have a single dime of real wealth. Think about it. I mean, every time you swipe that card for a prestige purchase, those designer heels that kill your feet, the overpriced skincare system, or that luxury car lease eating 30% of your paycheck, you're just donating your future freedom to a corporation's quarterly earnings report. You're literally buying things to impress people who don't even like you, right? Well, the people who actually love you couldn't care less about the logo on your shirt. I'm telling you right now, the most expensive thing you can buy is the appearance of success. It's a hamster wheel that never stops until you're broke, burned out, and 65 years old with nothing to show for it but a closet full of outdated handbags. Stop buying the lie. Start buying your freedom instead. When you choose to be uncool, you're choosing to build that 6-month FU fund. And trust me, once you have that $20,000 or $40,000 sitting in a high-yield account, your anxiety doesn't just lower, it disappears. You stop being a slave to a manager you can't stand or a lifestyle that's suffocating you. I mean, you aren't depriving yourself. You are liberating yourself. If you're finally ready to be uncool, stop caring about the aesthetic, and actually become wealthy, hit that subscribe button for more wealth strategies that the marketing industry does not want you to know. We're done with the fake rich era, you know? Tell me in the comments, what's one prestige expense you're cutting out of your budget today? I want to know exactly what you're ditching to get your life back.